Hey guys, my name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses with SuccessfulBlackWoman.com. I'm here with my good friend Shaquita Graham with TechCoWeb.com. That's it, right?
Yep.
TechCoWeb.com. So I'm looking at an article here that's from The Root, and the title of it is Demonization of Simone Biles' Birth Mother Shows National Addiction to Shaming Black Women. And you know, I had somebody ask me if, you know, the situation were reversed or the situation were different, because this article at The Root kind of looks at why she ended up in her circumstances, and it talks about the fact that the rate of, you know, addiction is the same for Black women as it is for white women. So the person who's writing this article is obviously going out of their way to say, you know, don't shame Simone Biles' mom. So the question that was posed to me was, if this was a Black man with this woman who wrote this article, would she be going out of her way to defend him the way that she's finding so many reasons to justify and defend Simone Biles' mom? So Shaquita, what do you think?
Well, of course, I can't speak for that specific writer, but I can say that in the media, of course, the shaming of Black males and demeaning of their image is priority number one. So I don't think that anybody would come to the defense of a Black male who was in this scenario as they would, as they have with Simone Biles' mom, which, you know, I totally agree with the fact that, you know, drug addiction is very serious medical issue. It's also a weapon that has been used by governments for centuries to oppress people. You know, I think about the opium wars. I think about the war on drugs here and the government's involvement. So, you know, I don't think we should take it as a opportunity to demonize Black men or Black women, which they did allude to in the article relating to Black women. However, anytime the propaganda machine gets going, they're going to drag Black men and Black women through the mud, but more so the Black male.
Right. You know, one of the things that I've become aware of is even in the Nate Parker issue that we talked about last week, there were two strong voices. You know, there was one voice who was really coming to his defense and saying, wait a minute, why is it suddenly such an issue that this man had a rape trial a decade and a half ago? Suddenly, when he's about to be in the spotlight for one of his biggest, if not his biggest success, why is that coming up now? And then looking at the fact that he was exonerated. Then there was another voice on the extreme other end, which was really, really strongly saying, look, this guy's a rapist, and people have a tendency of defending rapists, and we're not having it. And those two strong voices, where I saw them, were actually Black women on two ends of the spectrum. And the same thing kind of applies here. You know, you have Simone Biles' mom here. She had obviously issues, and the fortunate thing for Simone Biles is that her grandparents eventually, as I've seen it reported, are the ones who took her in and became her foster parents, which is great because look at how she turned out. It's wonderful. I do, however, have to kind of look at the fact that if it had been a Black man who had abandoned his family because he was on drugs and so forth, there is a voice that would come from Black women that would have all kinds of mean and ugly things to say about him. And it's the same kind of voice that's kind of defending Simone Biles' mom. What I want to see is, let's do it for men the same way we do it for women. We do have to look at the fact that this woman abandoned her kids. That's an awful thing. We're not going to try and pretend like it's not an awful thing. And if a man abandoned his kids and he was on drugs and so forth, that would be an awful thing too. That's one thing. Then we look at the other end, the other factors playing into it and why it happened and so on. And yeah, we do have to look at it, but we need to look at it for the women and we need to look at it for the men. And I really doubt that as strong a defense would have been put up had it been a Black man in the position that Simone Biles' mom was in.
Right. I mean, I think it's good that you're talking about the way that you feel like it should be done. This is coming from a melanated woman who, believes in her African heritage, who loves her African people. And this is the problem, because we engage in the viewpoints and the perspective of people who may be melanated or non-melanated, who have European mindsets, and they have a whole different agenda about how the Black female, male, and child image should be portrayed, and that is the problem. What we need to do is disengage from getting the image of ourselves from mainstream media. We have to stop following their plot lines, their narratives, and stop seeing ourselves through their lenses. Another solution is to insulate our communities from all of the various attacks against our family, because, it's like nobody's going to come into my household and ask me, hey, so what do you think about what your husband did? What do you think about what your son did? And try to get me, they're playing devil's advocate to get me to attack my family member or something that is a part of me. And we too often do this. We allow ourselves to be continually divided, and we know that is like one of the main weapons of warfare that's been waged against us throughout the centuries. If the Black man and the Black woman hate each other, that stops propagation right there. And that allows the oppressive forces to do what they want to do, which is dominate all resources and control genetic propagation.
Well said, Shaquita, because that is in a different way what I was trying to say is, if we're going to look at the fact that there are circumstances that cause the situation that a lot of Black women are in, we also need to do the same for Black men, and always do it. Not just have, these analytical skills and all this research and all this stuff that we're looking into when we're looking at a Black woman, and then suddenly be silent when it's a Black man being thrown to the wolves. And it works in the reverse, because I've seen it in the reverse. I don't want to be diplomatic about this. I just don't like seeing Black women joining that voice of destruction that throws Black men to the wolves, but nor do I want to hear Black men throwing Black women to the wolves. It goes both ways. So that's as clear as I can say it. And to go back to the original argument of would Simone Biles' dad, had he been the one in a position to be on drugs and abandon his family, would he have been defended? I don't think so. And what I'm saying is that he would have deserved just as much as she did.
And I mean, I think it baffles me, and I think people like Joy DeGruy have addressed this post-traumatic slave syndrome. It baffles me that we will look at the suspected white supremacists and see how they will stand up for each other. Like the whole Lochte, is his name Ryan Lochte, who went and lied on a whole nation and put a lot of money at jeopardy for them by making up false claims. And everybody rushes to his defense. All of the rape allegations that have been made against white men that have been found to be true in court, and they get like no time, and people feel sorry for them and all of that. Suspected white supremacists do that. We see them rush and defend even the founding fathers for the different things they do. However, as Black people, we look to see the worst in one another. And there's so much beauty to be seen and said. And we don't understand what God had in mind when he made us the original man and the original woman. And we don't understand the heritage of the civilizations that we've created and who we are. We've been genetically designed to be, and we don't take pride in that. And instead we allow other people to tell us how to view our man and how to view our woman. That has to stop.
Right. And I completely agree with everything that you're saying. And I would just say that some of us allow that.
Yeah.
And some of us don't. And we're saying that more of us should like you're saying, not buy into that narrative, and actually should resist it and refuse it. But again, this is a long conversation. We just wanted to touch on it and you know, give our opinion, our perspective on it. I just want to remind you guys that in 3 short weeks, we'll be in Atlanta. It's the All Black National Convention. Shaquita Graham and I are going to be on some panels there. We have, do you know which panel you're going to be on? I think it's the one about building Black millionaires, maybe?
I think so.
Well, Black Wall Street.
Economic empowerment.
Right. Economic empowerment. I'm going to be on the women's voices, and I'm also going to be on a panel about educating Black kids. It's exciting. It's amazing. We hope to meet you guys there, but bringing it up to say that we're working on creating an opportunity for those of you who have been watching our segments to meet Shaquita and I. We'll keep you updated. Again, you can follow Shaquita at textweb.com, and you can follow me at successfulblackwoman.com, but we'll definitely keep you updated about the upcoming conference. I want to say thank you to Shaquita. It's always a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you guys for watching.